I'm so-and-so and I'm your proctor today. And then I just messaged when I came back from the break. The tricky bit was, the way they ask the questions and what they expect. I like had my sheet and I've written down like everything they said. You need to listen really what it is about, and then you understand it anyway.
Hi guys, welcome back to TOEFL with Juva. Today I talk to Nico. Nico just took the TOEFL Home Edition and he's going to talk about his experience. Hi Nico, how are you doing?
Hi, Juva. I'm doing good. Thank you very much for having me.
So great that you're here today, Nico. Thank you so much. Many TOEFL students wonder what taking the TOEFL is like and how they can prepare for the test. So it's amazing that you want to talk about that. First, tell us a bit about yourself. What are you doing and where you're from?
Yes, so my name is, like you said, my name is Nico, and I'm actually by trade, I'm a marine biologist. So I am from Germany. I work for a company currently in England.
Why did you take the TOEFL?
So I took the TOEFL because I am applying to study in Australia, at the University of Western Australia. And I'm applying for a PhD position there. And in order to be accepted, or my application to be accepted, I actually have to do some sort of online test. So I decided to take the home-based TOEFL test because I could do it quickly and could do it from home. And yeah, I don't have to really go anywhere and organize a lot of things.
So it was quite convenient for you, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Nico, what was your TOEFL home experience like?
Um, I think a bit weird to start with. I mean, you get a lot of like training materials and like you can find resources online, like your videos, you can find stuff on their website. So you kind of like I guess you are prepared, and you know what to expect. But at the same time, I think it's still a bit different once it starts from like kind of like what you expect. But I think in total it went well, and yeah, I think I'm just glad I've got it behind me and I've got it sorted now.
Before taking the TOEFL at home, were you worried that there might be technical issues on test day?
Yes, but it gives you the option to check your equipment. I think on Proctor Equipment Check or something like that it was called. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
the tested out page. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one. And I think the only thing that came up was I've got a second monitor hooked up to my laptop, so it constantly said, you're not allowed to use two screens. And I was like, okay, fair enough. Like if I unplug it, it works, and it did. And yeah, everything else was fine. Like it tells you, or it checks if your internet speed is okay, if your equipment is okay, if your camera works, if your microphone works. I think you can even book like a test session with one of the proctors or do a testy thing or something. I didn't do that because everything was like green. I was like, yeah, it should work. But yeah, I was confident everything should be okay.
So you tested your equipment before, you were confident that everything would be fine, and in the end, everything was okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing. What was the interaction with the proctor like? Could you only write to your proctor in the chat box, or could you also speak to him?
A bit of both, but I think in general, very like impersonal, if that's the right word to say, because it's not like a Zoom chat like we would have, where like one sees the other and you're like, oh, hi, how's it going? Good morning. It's like this like voice that just comes out of your computer and it's like, hello, I am so and so and I'm your proctor today. And then it like goes straight in. It's like, we do the equipment check now, everything was fine. We do the room check and like all the checks that they need to do, make sure everything is okay and you don't have any like weird items with you. And I think I could do both. So at the start I was like talking to them, because they were talking to me. But then, for example, during the break, I would like message and I would like, because you can't see them, so you never like see them. You just kind of like hear them. And then I just messaged when I came back from the break, and I was like, "Well, I'm back." And they were like, "Yes, I can see." And I was like, "Okay." Yeah, apart from that, there was not much interaction going on really. And then at the end, we just chatted a bit more, saying, "Is there anything else I need to do? Like, am I allowed to log out?" Yeah, it was straightforward. Like they do help you with any questions you might have.
Nico, you got a very high TOEFL score. How did you prepare to get such a high score?
So for me, I like from like my background, I guess, I've lived and studied. So I studied in the UK for 4 years, in English, and then I lived in English speaking countries or in the UK like recently for the last 3 years, 3.5 years almost. Yeah. Yeah, so that's been quite a while. So I wasn't, too worried about the like the questions and like the, like the talking and everything and the writing because I do that for my job like every day, write like scientific texts for that. But I think the tricky bit was, the way they ask the questions and what they expect. And that's then when I went onto YouTube or well, I did the practice test they sent with it or whatever it was called, like the little thingy. And then I went on YouTube because I was like, right, YouTube is like the information source to find things. And I think it's like straightforward to learn with videos and things rather than like reading through websites. Yeah, and then I found your channel and I was like, right, okay, what's going on here? And then you were like, oh, template for this, template for that, for this. And I was like, oh, it's perfect because it's exactly like, what you need at the end of the day. Because when they ask you a question, you might go off and just talk about things that they aren't looking for in the answer bit, like in the listening section, for example, in the speaking section. And then obviously if you then know, right, you need to structure it this way and that way, give two arguments, done. And then you know what you need to do and what you can fit into like 45, 60 seconds, however long it is. So that's what I was like really looking into is like, how do I structure my responses? What do I need? What do I need to know? And what do I need to get a high score?
I'm so glad the templates were helpful to you. Amazing.
100%.
Was there a task on the TOEFL that you found challenging?
I think when I was, looking into it at the start, for me it was the listening section, not because, they speak fast or it's like hard to understand what's going on, because I think I went about it the wrong way. So I like had my sheet and I've written down like everything they said, it's like the name of the professor or whatever, the name of the student is like student is happy to see the professor or something like this. And I was like, right, hang on a second. That's, they're not going to ask, was the student happy or was the student called Christine or something like that. Um, so I was like, right, what do I actually that's then what I was looking into as well. What should I do or how should I take notes in order to be efficient and to be quick, because you don't have a lot of time, obviously, because they keep going on and on and on. And it's like now you have like 20 seconds to prepare your answer, and then you can't really read through a full page of notes, so it's not going to help you anyway. So I think that was the tricky bit, to say, right, what should I write down and like where should I just, listen? And I think that's the thing that helped me the most was you saying you need to listen to really what it is about, and then you understand it anyway. And then you understand the questions as well. So then I didn't need the notes that much or as much as I thought I would need them for that matter.
Okay, so you focused on what you need to listen for, you focused on the key points, the main points, and so you were able to filter out the required information that you needed in the end in order to answer the questions correctly. Which task was the easiest for you?
I think reading was a bit tricky as well. I think let me go in like a reverse order. So I think listening because of the notes, and then I think reading just because of the questions. They sometimes might be a bit misleading, and you're like read, you're like, oh yeah, it's definitely this answer, and it's not there, and you're like, oh my god. Um, what else? Speaking was all right, I think, and I think the easiest was writing for me personally, just because I do it every day, for my job. Like I write emails in English, I write all my work, like my papers or whatever it might be, I write everything in English. And I guess to a standard, that is shareable, like when I share it with my colleagues or co-authors or whoever. So I was not really worried about it. But again, I was like, right, what do you need to include specifically that you don't go off and write like, I don't know, an essay of like 2 pages if you don't need to, it's like 400 words or 300 words. And it's plenty. So I think it was the easiest, but again, with like a little, yeah.
Good. So this means you didn't practice writing in a sense, but you practiced the test format, how you need to
Yeah,
write an essay, how you need to structure it, and so on.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like I think because it's quite basic, what they want from you. So it was just like again, getting that template in your head, saying right, one sentence introduction and then argument one, counter argument one, argument two, counter argument two, or whatever, they want from you. And then just kind of like getting it like to the point, not like, oh, blah, 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 like four sentences, it's like, right, one or two sentences done. And then just getting it like condensed to the point.
How did you feel immediately after the TOEFL?
So I was worried actually, because I wasn't quite, you don't get like I didn't get an email saying, yeah, well done. Here were your preliminary results again. You get your results in 2 days or a week or whatever it might be. So there was like nothing there. So I think it's like don't if whoever watches this, like don't worry. It will come as long as you click on report my scores and not cancel my scores, which they will ask you like 3 times. Yeah, just wait for it. But I was like still, classic. I was like still panicking and I was like, oh my God, like did I click something wrong? Did I say cancel? Like what is happening? Nobody's messaging me or emailing me. So yeah, I think just wait and everything will be fine. And
And
release,
in the end, everything
you
was fine. You got a very high score. You can apply to your dream university. I mean, isn't that awesome, right?
happy days.
Nico, thank you so much for this interview. Thank you for giving us an insight into what your TOEFL experience was like. And I wish you all the best for your application and your PhD.
Thank you so much, Juva. Thank you again for for your help for just creating the channel, having the channel, and uploading videos constantly. And yeah, thank you very much, and all the best to whoever is gonna take their test soon. And good luck for whoever's already taken it and might be watching this. I don't know.
Thank you so much, Nico. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.